Welcome back to another video. I have a super special video for you guys today, and that is Jeskai Indomitable Creativity. So I built this deck during my 24-hour stream when Historic Horizons came out yesterday. And did a 24-hour stream, and I primarily climbed with this deck. I was able to go from bronze to Mythic number 5 in the 24 hours. I then slept for like 8 hours, woke up, and won like 10 or 15 in a row, somewhere between 10 and 15 in a row, to lock up first. I mean, the deck felt like I was cutting through butter, because the metagame is primarily creature decks like elves and merfolk got a huge boost, and so Serra's Emissary naming creature was kind of an auto win. Also, Serra's Emissary is super easy to cast, so drawing it didn't feel like that big of an issue. But yeah, let's break down this deck. So I've been playing Modern for some time, and in Modern I play 4-color Indomitable Creativity, in which I go get Emrakul. But I have Serra's Emissary in my board because you often play against decks that have Solitude, which can exile your Emrakul. So sometimes I need to go get Emrakul and Serra's Emissary and name creature, and that will protect my Emrakul. So I had experience with Serra's Emissary beforehand, and I knew it was a super powerful effect. So now that it came to Historic, I was like, let's give it a shot. And so everything just really came together. As the innovator of the Modern version, it was really easy to build this version because I had already figured out Hard Evidence is a pretty nutty card with Indomitable Creativity. It's a 1-mana sorcery, basically Thraben Inspector upgraded, because an O3 body is pretty annoying. And the fact that it makes a clue token gives you 2 targets for your Indomitable Creativity. It's honestly the perfect card. If I had to design a card to accompany Indomitable Creativity, it would be Hard Evidence. I would make it more busted. I would probably give it 1 more toughness, but what it is it's the perfect cantrip. It is the perfect card for a deck like this. Moving on, we got Memory Lapse. My personal opinion is this deck either needs to get banned, or cards like Red Elemental Blast or Veil need to come about, because Memory Lapse is not a fair card. Maybe Cavern of Souls. I just think that Memory Lapse is too busted. It's harder to play around. Counterspell would be healthier for the format. Moving on, Search for Azcanta. Game 1s against control are tough. Search for Azcanta gives you the entire package. It gives you the ability to beat control, allows you to grind, ramps you at times, does everything. Moving on, we got Fire Prophecy. This is basically the 4th Lightning Helix, except for sometimes you need to get rid of that Serra's Emissary, and Fire Prophecy is a great way to do that. Deal with the threat, put my Serra's Emissary back, filter my draws. Good shit. Expressive Iteration, we all know by now that it is one of the best cantrips. Oftentimes it's a 2-for-1. It's on the power level of Ponder, Brainstorm, except for that for 1 more mana you get the card advantage. Really low cost. I mean, seeing a ton of legacy play is a Modern staple now, and definitely a Historic staple as well. Lightning Helix is one of those cards you don't realize how much of an impact it has on a deck until you play it in a 3-color deck, especially. I think that Burn and the aggro decks in the format would be a lot more oppressive if Helix didn't exist, but Helix gives you that comfort. Like, it's a crazy card. Honestly, I think that if Bolt was in the format, it would be better for the format as a whole, because it would help aggro decks while helping these style of combo mid-range control decks, whereas Helix helps the control deck way more. Anger, I think, is a great choice right now. Dragon Race Chandler has had a huge uptick. Phoenix Shells are seeing a lot of play. Merfolk Shells, Elves. Anger just is a better board wipe than even Wrath of God right now. That 1 mana, pretty essential, especially because you want to go Anger into Indomitable Creativity. Then we got Prismari Command. We know how busted this card is because it's seeing so much play. Honestly, it's on the power level of K Command. I think it's better than K Command because of the ramp. I think that create a treasure token is severely underrated, and in the future it will be like closer to a card, essentially. Yeah, the fact that you can kill something and make a treasure token, I think is just like a severely underrated thing. And in my opinion, I think Prismari Command is a tier above K Command, and we all know K Command is extremely impactful. And that's, I would say, it's because of how much easier it is to enable than K Command, right? K Command, in order to get the full value, you really want to put a creature in your yard. Setting all that up takes a lot more than Prismari Command, where everything is basically done for you. Moving on, we got Indomitable Creativity. I mean, this is the bread and butter of the deck. You can sack your artifact, you can sack your token, which you make from Dwarven Mine or your crab, whatever it may be, and you go get yourself a Serra's Emissary on turn 4, and if you go for it on turn 5, you get 2. On turn 4, you can get 2 Serra's Emissaries. The way you would do it is you go hard evidence into Prismari Command, make a treasure, and then sack the crab and the clue token, while gaining that extra mana from the Prismari Command treasure token, to go get both the Serra's Emissary. I often name creature, but that's not always correct. You always have to be on your feet thinking about how they can deal with Serra's Emissary. If I'm thinking Brazen Borrower, it's instant. Sometimes you're in a desperate situation where you can lose because they can go super wide, and you have to name creature and just pray that they don't have a way to deal with it. I noticed that the black decks have a lot more sorceries that deal with Serra's Emissary, and I noticed like the blue-red decks have a lot more instants that deal with it. So I name instants if I'm trying to protect the Serra's Emissary against the blue-red decks, and then against the black-red decks, I'm more so naming sorcery. And if I'm in a bad situation or I know the matchup is more about what's on the table, then I'll name the creature. Sometimes Planeswalker, that's more so to do with 5 mana Teferi. There's no 3 mana Teferi, so you have less to worry about there. But overall, Serra's Emissary is really similar to Meddling Mage if you've ever played that card before, except for in a wider context, because it, instead of having to name a specific card, you're naming a whole genre of cards. So moving on to Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Why am I playing Teferi, Hero of Dominaria over, let's say, Kiora? So we had 2 Kioras in this slot, but what I noticed was the decks that I was losing to were some random decks, like the 9 lives enchantment decks. So I was like, how do I make this deck not lose to anything? And Teferi gave me a game plan that can win against anything, right? Because if there's enchantment I can't deal with, the -3 deals with it. If I just need to alt this and loop them, 2 Teferis is gonna enable me to do that. And so that's the reason why I chose to play Teferi. It gives you like a mini Jeskai control plan, which I absolutely love. And then the commit to memory, we have the Narsets in the board. It pairs well with those, but it goes along with that same theory, right? What can I not deal with? And what does commit to memory offer, right? Like, let's say I'm playing against rogues, they're milling me out. Having this commit to memory gives me that insurance policy, which I think is valuable for a deck like this. Especially, let's say I'm playing against Jeskai Control and they wrath my board. Both my Serra's emissaries are gone. I need a soft reset. Commit to memory offers that for not that high of a cost. So in my opinion, I think it's a super solid one of, but that would be like the biggest flex slot in the deck for sure. Moving on to Shark Typhoon, it gives you a token, it gives you another game plan. What more could you ask for? You could make this deck way more streamlined by cutting the commit to memory and adding another Shark Typhoon, because the card is honestly so busted in various matchups like Control, and just a solid card, kind of unpredictable and very impactful in a lot of your bad matchups. Serra's Emissary, we already went over that. So the next thing we'll talk about is the mana base. Mana base is probably the jankiest part of the deck. I will say I wish I had more free Steam vents to be able to like keep the deck in check. It is possible that we could try and add Sulfur Falls, but as far as the mana goes, I think I'm quite happy with it. We got Dwarven Mine that we kind of need to worry about all the time. Keeping it enable is something that you got to keep track of, so that's important. So make sure you get your mountains on track, as long as it's not costing you like the ability to have a white source so you can cast your helixes and the ability to get your island. But it's not, majority of the time I would say having your colors is more important than making sure that Dwarven Mine is enabled on that turn 4. That's what I have to say about this format. Historic is a lot slower and gives you more room to breathe than a format like Modern. So if you played the Modern version, you don't need to feel as rushed as you do in Modern. Moving on to the sideboard, we got 2 Unholy Heats. Gives you that extra oomph against the creature matchups. It's a really versatile card. Basically deals with anything you just can't deal with. 6 damage is a lot, and it is pretty easy to get your Delirium after when you cast a Prismari Command. Moving on, we got 4 Rest in Peace. Graveyard synergies are huge right now. I don't think I would imagine playing a deck without Rest in Peace or Leyline of the Voids, because the enchantment graveyard hate is so good right now. Honestly, I mean, like, Rest in Peace and Leyline really destroy Phoenix strategies, Dragon Race Chandler, other Unholy Heats, etc., etc. Moving on, Nezahal is the plan against Control. This card is absolutely insane. It's a dinosaur, costs 7, and can't be countered. And whenever your opponent casts a non-creature spell, you get to draw a card. And it's kind of wrath proof, in the sense that when they cast a wrath, you draw a card, and then you can blink it and bring it back at the end of turn. I've just been extremely impressed with this card. It doesn't seem like it's insane on the surface, but the more I play with it in the Control matchup, the more I am able to set it up properly and take advantage of its abilities. Elish Norn, this card is just like Angel plus in terms of the creature matchup. I often like to bring it in against elves and merfolk over one angel, because I want to like make their game plan more have to do with like not letting me resolve this in the first place, rather than these are on the field. If you deal with them, you win because all your creatures are still there. and so I found it to be a nice little upgrade post board. Moving on, Mystical Disputes, again for the just protecting your combo. Narset, just basically a Planeswalker, dig through time. Can't think of a more perfect card for your combo deck. Wrath of God, more insurance against the control deck. The creature decks. And then Shark Typhoon, because again, post board, we're really trying to destroy the control matchup, which are on the back foot right now. But if this deck continues up in popularity, I could totally imagine making room for a second Nezahal and making room for the fourth Shark Typhoon. But as far as right now goes, I feel like this version is the best against the format as a whole. All right, let's jump into some games. All right, we're going to be on the play. We got a solid hand. Yeah, we're definitely going to keep this. We'll start off with the Raugrin Triome. Hopefully we're playing against a creature deck. Sweet. We are playing against a creature deck. And I think I don't need to worry about double blue. I'm just going to fetch a mountain here. Charming Prince, sure. Two cards at the bottom. I'll take the one. I will go ahead and grab a mountain, untap, shock. I'm gonna go ahead and anger. They're gonna get to draw a card. But I just don't wanna have to cast the anger after getting a bunch of dwarves with all these mines, because we got triple mine lined up. Elite Spellbinder, that's definitely the best card I think that they could have played against us here. That's one hell of a draw. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and make my 1/1. Go ahead and Helix and play a search. We're back to 20. They don't really have a board. We're presenting combo. Skyclave Apparition is kind of annoying. Ooh, I like the commit to memory draw. Sure. I guess we will cast this. Alright, here goes the beats. I think I'm just gonna cast the memory. I think the memory favors us pretty greatly. Take the Prismari Command. I think that makes a lot of sense. All right, sure. I don't think I need to block. So, creature is one of them. Second one could be a variety of things. Trying to think. Sorcery is for deck and stone. Enchantment is for cast out. And I think I have to go with sorcery. Because if they have a cast out, then it still takes them 2 turns to deal with the situation. But if it's a deck and stone, I lose on the spot. So they didn't like just cast it like on the spot. So that makes me think that they're thinking about it, or they're reading it, or they're, I don't know what they're thinking. Yeah, they're gonna test it all out. What is it? Am I missing some crazy text or something? Yeah, pro creature, so we're not gonna take any damage, but we can still block their stuff and end their life. Beautiful. Yeah, not a lot of people realize how stupid Serra's Emissary is, honestly. It's just always like a surprise. They're like, oh my god, you have protection from my creatures? And I'm like, yeah, you're dead. Your life's over. I think people would be flipping out a whole lot more if there was a chat feature on Arena. All right, so we're going to be bringing in Unholy Heat, 2 of them, 2 Wrath of Gods, and we're definitely going to be bringing in this Elish Norn. We're going to board out 1 Serra's Emissary, the Teferi, the Commit to Memory. I don't like Search in this matchup. So I'm board out the 2 Searches, and we're bringing the Shark Typhoon. The reason why I'm not going to have Search in this matchup is because of Skyclave Apparition. If I take out the Searches, then their Skyclave Apparition just has no targets. It does not hit tokens. So yeah, let's run this. Solid hand. We will keep. I'm going to go ahead and play the Mountain because I would like to just Unholy Heat this. Could have done it at the end of turn, but it's not like we have the combo. Oh, sure. I guess we could have played around the situation. I'll go ahead and play a plains. I'll take the 2. Alright, they're attacking us on every axis right now. It's just like, take a look at your hand. Dahlia, you Esper Sentinel. It's just hitting us on every axis possible. But honestly, it's not a big deal. They took a whole turn off to save their Thalia. I could not care less. This 1/1 that I make is honestly a problem. It just blocks their entire field, and I just drew another broken card. So, alright, I guess we'll just go get a mountain. And we'll go ahead and destroy an artifact and deal 2 damage. So 2 damage here, destroy this, you draw a card, whatever. And now we got your board locked down with this free 1/1 that we got. I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do. Oh shit. Oh my god. It's an actual Thraven Inspector. Oh no. It's too much value. It's so much value. Alright. I think they're gonna look at our hand and they're gonna sack their anger of the gods. Oh, no, they just conceded. Yeah, this deck is not fun to play against. Okay, we're back to number 2. Well, that was a complete beating. My opponent looked at my hand twice. The second time they looked at it, they said, we're done. We don't want to play anymore. We will just let our head explode. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check out the description. I always put a sideboard guide down there for these like more personalized deck techs. And if you see a matchup that is missing, feel free to leave a comment, or if you think that a matchup should be approached differently, just talk to me about it, and I'll definitely reply. And if you wanna reach out to me in any other way, check me out on my Twitch stream. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.